Have you ever helped your kids with their homework and then you were like, all right, look, we at the elementary level, I can help you with your homework, but past that, I'm like, I really can't do it. Man, okay. So I know, like, for me, I can help my kids with their elementary homework and like handwriting, simple math, adding, subtracting, dividing and stuff. But one of the things is I told my kids already, I'm like, look, like I'm like that Medea on the TV show. No, the TV show is the movie. And Medea's like, I can't help you with the algebra row and stuff. Man, look here. When my kids get to algebra, I've already told them, you start hitting middle school, you start getting past adding, subtracting, and dividing, daddy can't help you no more. And that's how I look at it. Like, I'm okay with like regular math, regular handwriting and stuff like that, studying or certain things, but it's like, I'm not that confident in myself that I can help my kids with algebra and different stuff like that because that little stuff is too advanced for me. And I tell them all the time, daddy ain't gonna help you. I'm gonna have to get you a tutor or you gonna have to stay after school for that. And that's just kind of how I see things is like homework at school, I really don't even think necessarily it's a bad thing per se. I think it's the way it's presented sometimes, and that's the way I really look at it. I don't have a problem with homework, but it depends on what it is that you're learning. Because I believe that learning is such a strong guidance in kids' lives, and it can really help them grow as individuals. But my question is like, what are we studying for? Like, if school is teaching my kids, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna study about Abraham Lincoln and how he freed the slaves and stuff like that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But like when they start talking about Christopher Columbus, he discovered America and all that, Christopher, that's like, come on, man. Now, you know them Indians was already there. And that's the way I look at it. It's like, bro, come on, Christopher. Now, you know good and well when you got here, they was already here, so you didn't discover nothing. And then y'all over there shooting people and all that. Come on. So that's the way I look at it is like, it can be a benefit. Really, homework can, depending on what the subject matter is. And then you have to look at it from homework to like equal to task. And what I mean is sometimes teachers will have the kids do homework, but it's stuff that really doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, we're learning about algebra, we're learning about trigonometry and all that. Ever since I graduated from high school, I've never used algebra. I've never used trigonometry. I don't even know how to work some of those. I know what pi is, the square root is like 3.14 or something like that because I memorized it a long time ago. But it's like, where is this stuff really going to lead to? And I think as a father, we really have to ask ourselves that question whenever we're having our kids in certain classes and stuff. And don't get me wrong, based on a curriculum and stuff, you have to go based on the curriculum that you're given. And that's understandable. But we also got to ask ourselves, what are the kids learning? So sometimes I even email teachers and I ask them like, why are you sending this homework home? Like, we got stuff to do and you over here sending stuff they ain't never going to use. So I think homework versus training is really a foundation. And what I mean is homework builds a foundation for you to study and learn. And I think that's very beneficial for your child because you got to look at it from, if your kid can learn how to study in elementary level, middle school level, high school level, if they're going to go to college later, this is the foundation that really builds and prepares them to go to the next step in order to learn how to study. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily just learning anything at all. It just could be more so learning how to do homework to study. They may want to study about cars, finances, a lot of different things that they can learn as their kids, and the homework really prepares them for that. And that's the way that you really have to look at it. It's like, they can really be prepared for this if they learn how to do homework early on. And I think grades and character don't always really match up. Sometimes just because a kid makes straight A's doesn't mean anything. I remember there was a story a long time ago. There's this guy, he got into medical school, and I don't even know the guy's name, you can look it up. But the guy got into medical school, which was really hard to get into, and then he was making good grades and he wasn't working, but he was out there like killing women and stuff. At nighttime, he'd be like dating these women and start killing them. I was like, this is weird. And then I asked him why he did it. He said, it was almost like I didn't feel like I would deserve this life or something like that. I'm like, something wrong with this guy. But the guy made like straight A's. And even the teachers was like, that's impossible that he would be out there killing people unless and then they really showed him the evidence of what he did. And it's crazy because it's like, how's this guy making straight A's? His character looks good, tall, white male. You know, I think he had like blue eyes or something like that. But then it's like your character doesn't line up with your grades. So then it makes you kind of wonder. So just because somebody makes straight A's and B's and stuff like that doesn't always equal character of who they are. Character is like, are you a bad person? Are you a good person all the time or sometimes? Like, who are you when you're around people? How do you act? Do we know who you're going to be long term? Do we know who you're going to be in the next 6 months based on the way you always act? And that's really how you got to look at things. Because if you look at it from the standpoint of that, grades don't always equal character. So is grades more about character, or is it grades by itself solo, or is character solo? I think you can sometimes mix and match a little bit, but I don't think it always equals a bigger picture and a bigger equation of grades make this person a better person versus a non-better person. Because I've seen people that make bad grades, they just don't know how to study well. I'm one of those kids like that. Like when I was a kid, I didn't always have good grades. I graduated college. I had good character. I'm making good content. And I know people that make really good grades in college, and I've seen this. They smoke a lot of weed. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like, how does this person make all these good grades, but they out there smoking weed? And I've seen it happen. I was like, it's kind of odd. And I'll give you another story like that. There's this guy, he was in school, and this is when I was in college. And this is like, because I went to a couple of different colleges, and I finally graduated from University of Houston downtown. But the fact of the matter is, I asked him, what are you going to school for? He said, I'm going to school for pharmacy. I said, oh, that's good. So you're going to be a pharmacist? He said, yeah. But this guy, what he used to do is he would like sell drugs. Like he'd be like selling weed and stuff like on campus and stuff like that. And I was like, this is kind of strange, but it's interesting because he knows all about pills and substances and all that kind of stuff. And he made straight A's. So he has good grades, but his character doesn't match with the grades. Go figure. That's why I say, what does that really mean? And I think a father's role in their kid's life is really to show them as kids is, hey, look, make good grades, but also be a good person. Be kind to people. Maybe sometimes you want to be gentle. Don't always yell at people. Be open to other people's different points of views of how they are as people, and show other people your point of views too. Don't be rude to people. One thing I always tell my kids is I drill it in them. Y'all both need to work together. It's two boys, y'all brothers, you got to work together. And I always tell them too, always watch how you treat people because you never know, you might need them one day. That's something my dad taught me, and I live by that because you just have no idea who it is that you're meeting and who they know, because I've seen it happen with people going for an interview and come to find out they went to high school together, but they were good friends. Just imagine if they weren't. And that's the way I really look at things. So a father, his role in far as homework and grades and home training is that I always teach my kids good home training at home. And I tell my kids all the time, I'm not asking you to make straight A's. That's not me. At least, make a C, preferably at least a B. I'm not saying you got to make A's. If you make A's, great, wonderful, that's fine. Daddy's cool with it. But if you don't, you at least make a C, or at least you make a B, you're passing, I'm good. Don't come home bringing F's, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see you failing and all that. Just try to pass the class and do the best of your ability. That's it. That's all I'm asking you to do. And that's what I think you should do too as a father. Just show them. And I think a lot of times what happens is that sometimes people think that homework and grades equal a real world experience. And that is not true. I personally have seen it before, where I've worked with certain people when I work inside of a lab. And one of the ladies told me one time, I graduated from Rice University. I'm like, yeah, you graduated from Rice University, but I tell you stuff, you got this ding dong look in your eyes, like you don't know what the hell going on. And that's something I really tell guys is like, just because somebody graduated from Harvard, Yale, all these kind of places, or Rice University, that doesn't always equal smart. I'm just telling you from experience. And that's the way I look at these type of things. It's like, just because that person supposedly graduated from this big school does not give them real world experience. And I've seen people who have a lot of experience and then they're really good at their job. And a lot of times I tell people, I'd rather as a person, an employee, hire somebody else that really has more experience and a degree. And I tell my kids the same thing. So that's something you really want to just tell your kids on what to do. And have a balance of homework, schoolwork, and then just different things at home that really prepare them and prep them for the next stage of life. It doesn't always have to be like college, but just show them, hey, look, learn these skills at school while you're in school right now. And also learn how to wash dishes, learn how to count money, learn how to clean, Learn how to do different things around the house. Learn how to use a computer. Learn how to use AI and resources around you, because this will prepare you for the next level in life. It's not just about what schoolwork is important. So what you want to do is make sure that you have this knowledge as far as like book knowledge, but also real world knowledge to really prep you for the next level in life. Because I tell my kids, I don't want you to get out there and you don't know what to do. So learn how to count money, learn about relationships, learn how to do different things, learn how to cook, learn how to clean, the basics, and then you grow from there. So I make sure that I'm setting a foundation and that I have them kind of going up. Because what happens is that you want to set a legacy. What do I mean by that? So my last name is Payne. So when I tell my kids all the time, your last name is Payne too, we want to set an example for people inside Lamar Consolidated School District, the school district that they're in. And then you also, what you want to do is that you want to set the foundation to where the legacy can be built and go. When the teachers see your last name in the paper or they see your last name on the sheets, okay, he's part of that family, like positive. He's part of the family that makes good grades. He's part of the family where they have good home training. Part of the family where he knows how to cook. He knows how to clean. Stuff like that. Everybody has legacy. Even if you watch football, you watch the Manning brothers. Everybody knows the Manning name. They're all quarterbacks. They have a good foundation. They have a good legacy. They don't cuss people out, yell at them. So what kind of foundation and legacy are you setting for your kids when you do homework versus home training? So with that, you want to make sure that your kids have good grades on their homework, good grades at school, and then you also want to make sure that they have good home training. And I just want y'all to do that. I want to make sure that you teach your kids to have good grades, do well in school, and have good home training. That's what I want y'all to succeed as fathers, because I know y'all can do. And I know that because I believe in y'all. So remember, we got to get the content out. Like, share, subscribe. Peace. I'm out.